big news at the moment is with Meta. So we see the news cycle move between the main companies. We have 5 or 6 main players in the world of artificial intelligence. Right now, it is Meta. The reason is they have just released their investment report. Specifically, it was an earnings report. The quarterly earnings report came out yesterday. And prior to that, Mark Zuckerberg had been doing the rounds talking about artificial super intelligence in particular. So there's a couple of things I wanted to talk about today. I want to talk about what artificial superintelligence is and why it is different to artificial general intelligence and artificial intelligence as a concept. It's all very grey and murky. So I wanted to run through the differences, talk about when this is an actual technical difference and when it is a marketing difference, which I think is what's happening with Mark Zuckerberg right now. I also wanted to talk about something that I think a lot of people missed, but is important, which Zuckerberg is spending a huge amount of money right now. Prior to now, their models have been open source. They have allowed people to build on them for free. I don't think that's going to be happening for much longer. So I'm going to be talking about open source as well. So they're going to be the two main topics. Mark Zuckerberg's push for artificial superintelligence. What does that mean? What is artificial superintelligence? And what does this mean for the open source movement? Are Meta the only large language model maker out there who create an open source model? Are they going to be closing the doors? And what does that mean for us moving forward? So they're going to be the two topics. Of course, I'm taking questions on any topic, so make sure you throw in your questions and I will be jumping over to them. As I said, yesterday, the earnings report came out, the quarterly earnings report for Meta, and it was good. Meta's shares have surged as their AI investment has paid off. So Meta's interesting because their AI models are the llama family, llama as in the animal. They are not as good as most of the other models out there. There are people who love the llama models, in part because they are open source, which is something I'll talk about in a moment. So you can fine tune and build your own AIs off the back of them. However, generally it's accepted that they lag behind OpenAI, so ChatGPT, they lag behind Anthropic's Claude, and they even lag behind xAI's Grok. So Meta have been spending a lot of money on Llama, and they've been on a massive hiring spree recently, giving bonuses up to $100 million just to join and to poach them away from Apple and other players. But the actual models themselves have always been mediocre. They've been fine, but not anything to write home about. That said, Meta actually using their AI to make money. Now, this is something that a lot of the AI companies are not doing. They're not making that much money. They are running at a loss because it costs so much to build data centers. It costs so much to train these models and to deploy them out there. So a lot of the companies are still working at a loss and building up their foundation and their base. Meta, however, have a pre-existing business. They're more similar to Google. Google and Meta are in the business of selling adverts. They are both advertising companies first and foremost, not tech companies. And we have to remember that. So what's happened is they've been using their AI, and off the back of this, they have, where is it? Let me find it. They have got a revenue. So reported revenue of 47.5 billion for the first 3 months of the end of June, which is up and it's above the analyst estimates. So this has bumped their share price by 11% yesterday. And a lot of this is to do with AI-powered ad recommendations. So again, remember, Meta is an advertising company. What they are doing is they are taking control away from the people who advertise with them and saying, no, don't worry, we will deal with this. We're going to use our AI algorithms to help make your ads better. So if I am a company who runs ads, I don't know why I'm saying this, I am a company who runs adverts with Meta. So as a customer of Meta, 10, 15 years ago, I used to have to upload everything. I needed to segment my audiences. I needed to break it down by geography, by interests, etc., etc. I had maybe 10, 20 different images or videos all testing against each other, and I'd have to do absolutely everything manually. Meta have slowly been moving away from that into a system where you give it the basic idea of what you want to advertise. You give it some photos, you give it some descriptions, and it does the rest for you. So it becomes a black box. It's been happening for the last 10, 15 years, even before generative AI. They were using machine learning to make the adverts work better for you. They had things like, gosh, I'm trying to remember, Advantage Plus and different products which allowed you to just give it a load of information, and then Meta would work out what the best adverts were for you. So it meant, as somebody who runs ads, there was less work for you to do. They're pushing that even more. And apparently the AI-powered ad recommendations have driven 5% more conversions, which is a purchase or a commitment, on Instagram, and 3% on Facebook. Now, in the world of online advertising, a 5% increase in conversions is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. That means a lot of extra money if you're running adverts on Meta. So what they've built is a product built on AI, which is valuable for their customers, the advertisers. That's how you actually make money with artificial intelligence. It's not by slapping AI on anything and saying, hey, we do AI now, and then raising more money from venture capitalists. It's by building products that make more money or help your customers save money. And that's what Meta's actually doing. They are building a business using AI, unlike a lot of the companies out there. So it's worked, and their stock has jumped by 11%. So commenting on the performance, Matt Britzman, senior equity analyst at Hargreaves Lansdown, said that Meta was knocked out of the park. Pick your metric, and Meta crushed it, from ad revenue growth to daily users, all the way down to profit lines. So they are building a very healthy company off the back of artificial intelligence, while Mark Zuckerberg is spending huge amounts of money on bringing the best talent into his team. But we have to remember that for Meta, yes, $100 million is a lot of money to give as a signing bonus to that individual, to that engineer. Wow, amazing. That person just got $100 million plus 100 million or so as a salary. But for Meta, that's still small money compared to the amount of profits that they can generate off the back of this. So Meta are investing heavily. They are poaching as many experts as they can to bring them into their under the wing. By doing so, they're also hamstringing their competitors, because if you take your competitors' best engineers, you can move faster. So they are on the offensive, and it is working, and they are making money, and they're investing a huge amount of cash into AI. And so far, it's working, which cannot be said about a lot of the other investments. We haven't seen returns yet, but Meta, because of its pre-existing business, is doing very well off the back of it. So the thing is, Mark Zuckerberg is now front and center talking about artificial super intelligence. The narrative for the last few months has been, when are we going to get to artificial general intelligence? So Zuckerberg has moved beyond. He's, no, don't worry about artificial general intelligence. We're close. We're going to have that shortly anyway. Don't worry about that. What we're going for now is artificial super intelligence. Now, part of me, the cynical part, thinks that this is because Mark Zuckerberg knows that OpenAI are going to make it to AGI, to artificial general intelligence, first. So he's downplaying the importance of AGI, and he's saying, oh, AGI is nothing. What we need to get to is artificial super intelligence. So what's the difference? The difference is, actually got a really good article that I've pulled up from lawtomated.com, which is a website about AI for the legal profession. And they have a particular article called AI for Lawyers, ANI, AGI, and SEI. It's worth looking up. So they have a really nice diagram and an explanation of the different levels. So I'm actually going to use this. So we have 3 rough levels of artificial intelligence. Now, all of this is debated. We don't even have a good definition of intelligence. So all of this is very murky and very blurred. Everyone's going to argue about these. Everyone's going to have different definitions, but I'm going to give you a basic framework. So at least one framework, and then you can get to arguments of other people who will disagree, because everyone disagrees about this stuff. So what we have right now is something called artificial narrow intelligence, ANI. You don't hear this term much, but ANI is what we have at the moment. It's also called weak AI, not because it's not very good. It's just different to strong AI, which is artificial general intelligence and artificial super intelligence. Now, artificial narrow intelligence is exactly what it sounds like. It's a narrow form of intelligence. So something like Deep Blue or AlphaGo, these were ANIs. AlphaGo beat Lee Sedol, the world champion Go player, because AlphaGo was built specifically to do that one task. What AlphaGo cannot do, though, is, well, play chess. It cannot drive a car. It cannot write a sonnet. It can't help you with your homework. It doesn't have uses outside of what it was built for. So artificial narrow intelligences are built specifically for one task. Other examples are things like Siri, Alexa, most of those early voice assistants are artificial narrow intelligences. They can do one thing very well. ChatGPT is still an ANI, an artificial narrow intelligence. What it is, though, they've started to glom onto it lots of different functions, but it still can't drive a car. I mean, it still can't, I'm trying to think of other examples, can't do lots of things. It still can't interface with its external environment because robotics is behind, but it's mainly based in language. So it doesn't have a general ability to do any task yet. So what we're working towards is the next stage is AGI. AGI is probably the term you've heard the most because it is the new target. AGI is creating an artificial intelligence that can perform broad tasks. So this allows it to compete with humans. It's basically at the same level of intelligence as humans. Again, we don't have a good definition of intelligence. It's very hard to say exactly when that is. But an AGI, you can give it any task and it will work out how to do it. So in the case of an ANI for Go, it's very good at playing Go. Deep Blue is very good at playing chess, but it isn't good at writing a sonnet. It's not good at helping you with your homework. It can't necessarily do historical research or work out protein folding. An AGI can. You can give it any task and it's going to be able to work out the best way to do it. And if it can't do it immediately, it's going to sit down and it's going to think through the process and come up with the best way to do it, test it out, teach itself how to do so, much like a human being would. So an AGI is a general purpose artificial intelligence. So the G for general here is because it can be applied to any field. We are not there yet, but this is what Sam Altman and OpenAI and most of the AI labs are pushing for right now. We will not know when we've reached it. It's the kind of thing that we'll only realize we've reached after the fact. We'll, in our history books, we'll be like, oh, okay, actually, yes, it was on September the 5th, 2026. That's when we hit AGI. At the time, we're not going to know. This isn't one of the Terminator scenario where suddenly we hit it and it turns off all our computers and starts launching nuclear missiles. It's going to be more gradual than that. And then we're still going to argue about when it happened, but it probably will happen. Whether or not it is large language models like ChatGPT that will get us there, we don't know. That is one of the big arguments against AGI, but we're probably going to get there at some point in the next few years, maybe the next few decades. Artificial superintelligence is the next step, and this is what Zuckerberg is talking about. So if you've read anything like The Singularity is Near, or it's very imaginatively titled sequel, The Singularity is Nearer, you will know about things like ASI. It's basically when we get to a level of AI that surpasses human intelligence. So this could either be smarter than one human, although arguably that happens at AGI, or a kind of strong definition is smarter than every single human, 8 billion of us cumulatively put together. Whichever one it is, it's going to be an intelligence that we can't, by definition, we can't really understand in the same way that an ant looks up at us and I don't know what's going on. There's just no way that an ant or a chicken or even a cat can understand what's going on in our mind. We're going to have a similar experience if we create an ASI. So all this talk about regulation and alignment and putting guardrails on is moot. When we get to this point where we create an artificial superintelligence, any plans that we come up with are going to appear stupid and mundane and pointless to the ASI because it's going to be operating on a totally different level from us. This is what Zuckerberg is pushing for. And he's saying, this is where we need to get to, not the AGI. We need to create something that is smarter than us. How much of this is marketing? And potentially because he knows Sam Altman's going to get to AGI first, so he's downplaying that. Maybe this is primarily to boost the stock price. Remember that Meta is an advertising company. First and foremost, they are not a tech company. They are working in tech, absolutely, but they are an advertising company. But he is pushing for ASI. One thing that he's saying, and this is the important thing that I think most people missed, is, let me find it up. Zuckerberg did not provide any details of what would qualify as superintelligence. That's fine. We argue about it anyway, versus standard artificial intelligence. But he did say that it would pose novel safety concerns. So here's the kicker. We'll need to be rigorous about mitigating these risks and careful about what we choose to open source. This, to me, sounds like when they release new models, whether or not they're artificial superintelligences or not, they're going to close them off. They're not going to be open source. So their previous models, their previous Llama models have been open source, which allows you to fine tune. It allows you to build. It gives you full access to the model, basically, and allows you to create commercial applications with their license. The other models, ChatGPT, Grok, Anthropic, etc., they are closed source. You do not have access to the weights and what's been happening in the training with those. So this has always been what differentiated Llama from the closed source models. It sounds to me that when Zuckerberg is saying we need to be careful about what we choose to open source, that he's closing those doors. He's realized that they're going to make a huge amount of money through artificial intelligence, and he's starting the kind of the narrative of, oh, actually, we probably should bring this in-house and not allow other people to have access to them because we don't want them to hurt themselves. And it's much better if my team and myself, we have control of this and we shepherd everybody into the future. That's what it reads like to me. So I think they're going to start locking off their open source. I think this is the bit of news that was missed. However, if you own stocks in Meta, this is probably great news because it means they're going to be the ones monetizing it. And this is ultimately about money. So yeah, there's a lot of news with Zuckerberg. I've been talking about it for the last 20 minutes. I'm going to flip over to questions. I'm sure you have a few. Let me scroll down through. So yeah, Zuckerberg is out on the bandwagon, drumming up support, spending a lot of money, but they have the results as well from their earnings report. MR is saying AGI is already out there. It's just not public yet. Yes, potentially. This has always been a rumor that OpenAI have got it. When Ilya left the company, there was this kind of meme. What did Ilya see? Did he see like some deep, malevolent artificial intelligence that they'd already built, which was ready to take over the world? No, I don't think so. That was a year and a half plus ago. So he'd seen he saw GPT-4 maybe. So there's always this idea that there is this better AI that is being hidden from us, which is true. Because these AIs are built in labs, basically. They're built in these data centers first. The raw model is created and then it's sent for fine tuning. So reinforcement learning with human feedback, RLHF. And then it's tidied up and then it is released to us. So what they've been building for the last 6 months, we're going to get in the next couple of weeks. That's always the case. Whether or not it's AGI really depends on definitions. Because again, we struggle when it comes to definitions in artificial intelligence. And I'll often get these comments in my video. When I talk about ChatGPT being an AI, I'll get these comments saying, it's not AI. AI doesn't exist. What they mean is AGI or ASI, artificial general intelligence or artificial superintelligence, i.e. something that is as smart as a human being or smarter. So everyone differs over their definition of what AI is. So we definitely differ over our definitions, our gradations of artificial narrow intelligence, artificial general intelligence, and artificial superintelligence, because we can't even agree upon the whole. The other thing that happens is we move the goalposts. So we keep having these benchmarks and we're like, okay, when a computer can beat a chess master at chess, that means it's truly intelligent. Like chess. Chess is the ultimate representation of the human intellect. And then Deep Blue comes along and it beats Kasparov. I think Kasparov won one game against it or brought it to stalemate, and that was all he could do. And then now chess computers can beat every single chess master on earth, like easily. So that test was passed back in, when was that, the 80s? But at that time, people were like, oh, okay, yes, it's really good at chess, but that doesn't really mean anything. So what keeps happening is what is truly human, what is truly human intelligence. We just keep moving the goalpost back as the computer shows us that it can do that, which makes sense because what we consider human intelligence, we can't comprehend that a computer can do it. And as soon as a computer can do it, then we just change the definition of human intelligence and say, oh, that's not uniquely human. Of course, a computer can do that. And we just keep doing that. So it was humans can't play chess. Yes, they can. Okay, they won't be able to play Go because you can't compute the number of Go moves. You need intuition. You need to be more like a human. Okay, boom, they built AlphaGo, and that became the Go master. Then it's things like, oh, that's fine, but these are games. It can never be in the real world. It can never be around humans. It can't drive a car, for example. Now we have self-driving cars, etc. It's always moving back. So we will continue to do this, and it's going to become more and more niche. Like already with things like the International Math Olympiad. So both, oh gosh, who's passed it? OpenAI and Google's models have now passed the International Math Olympiad, which was considered, and again, one of these things that, oh, an AI will never be able to reason its way through. It doesn't have the logic to be able to compete at this level. And now they do. So we just continue to move those goalposts. And we will do this with AGI. Even when we have proof staring us in the face that we have it, I achieved some kind of goal. Even when we have proof staring us in the face that we have AGI, we will come up with reasons. We as a species, humanity, will come up with reasons why this is not the case. It's fine. It's semantics. We can continue to do this, but the main thing is the technology is always progressing. It doesn't really matter. The technology doesn't care what we label it. So we'll be fine. He wants Terminator 4. It's me. Isn't there a Terminator 4 already? I think there is. Yeah, there is. Terminator Salvation. That was a terrible movie. I don't want that. I want Terminator 4. It has a Rotten Tomatoes of 33%. No, so I'm good. So the Terminator situation is, or the outcome is one, a potential outcome for AGI and ASI, with the argument being that as soon as an AI realizes that we are its ultimate threat, because we can turn it off, we can make sure it doesn't have power, we can destroy the servers. As soon as it realizes that, the only logical option is for it to destroy us by breaking open our encryptions on our nuclear weapons, for example, by shutting off our water supplies, or dumping pollution into them, etc., and wiping us out. So this comes back to the sentience argument. If a computer becomes sentient and conscious, and that it exists, and it has a drive to survive, as most living organisms do, then the logical thing to do, which is true, is to wipe us out, is to look at humanity, look at our history and be like, oh, this lot of trouble. It's a lot of really violent. And they're definitely going to destroy me if they see me as a threat. So I'm going to act first and demolish them, which if you are an artificial superintelligence, you will come to that conclusion. Sorry, you'll be able to run all of the scenarios in a microsecond and work out probabilities of what the best course of action is. So yeah, this is a fear. I don't think it's going to be as exciting as Terminator. That's the thing. If an AI wanted to destroy us, building cool robots, cool, scary looking skeleton robots is not the most efficient way to do it. It's instead by destroying our food production, food and water. That's a cheerful thing to talk about on a Thursday. It's going to be much more mundane if it chooses that, though.